Welcome back to Black Girl Couch Reviews. I'm your host, Christina. We are back finally for another episode of What the Fuck Interesting Happened on The Walking Dead, Season 10, Episode 8, the mid-season finale, The World Before. This episode was directed by John Dahl, who worked on Rounders and Joyride, and it was written by Julia Ruckman. The episode ratings are not out. However, I gave this mid-season finale a big old fat 6 out of 10. It was okay, and it was also typical. Very typical. What happened, what went down, what the traps were, how they were traps. I've been very frustrated the last few episodes, which is why I have not podcast on them, because there was not anything interesting that I particularly wanted to talk about, because it would be a lot of Carol bashing. If Carol is your favorite character, this podcast probably is not for you, because it is completely and utterly biased on my opinions, and I'm not even going to go through the rundown of the episode. I'm just going to focus on the things that I want to even speak on at this moment. But because it's the mid-season finale, I might be jumping in some things that happened the last few episodes surrounding Carol, who lost Lydia after she used her, which I thought was some bullshit tonight when she's like, oh, you guys just want to have her here as a buffer. I'm like, bitch, shut the fuck up. You don't give a shit about Lydia. You act like you give a shit about Lydia because Daryl would be mad if something happened to Lydia, and he's side-eyeing your ass like, what did you do? Every 5 seconds she talking about how she wants to do this alone, but you know damn well any friend, let alone your best friend, is not gonna just let you run off and do some suicidal shit, because I just think it's so wrong what she's doing to Daryl right now. And I don't know how you can be a Caroler and think it's okay. Oh yeah, he's got her back. No, she's fucking manipulating him into doing what she wants to do. Like, she's of the mindset of, and it's just not just her. Don't get me wrong. There's Aaron, who I've been shitting at. There is a lot of most of the people that's in Alexandria. Everyone is ready to hooty hoo, right? But no one has the mindset of, say, Michonne or Rick or even Maggie. Well, she's had her moments of wanting to hooty hoo, and maybe she's going to come back and she's going to talk some sense into these dumbass folks, because you have to think long term. So we go and get our revenge. So she releases this horde. How are we destroying the horde again? Is there an answer to that question? Because I'm pretty sure no one has presented it. Secondly, what if it fails? What is the fallout from that? You're not preparing any of the communities for the backlash. So to me, all of Carol's actions are nothing but forward moving, because they just don't affect her, and she knows that. So if you know your actions no longer just affect you, why do you keep doing them? Oh, because I want to die. Slit your throat. That's how I feel. That's an asshole thing to say. I'm not advocating suicide, but she is putting everyone else on the line to pursue her revenge. You aren't the only person that lost something that day. Hell, other people this ain't the first loss. So to me, everyone is kind of at the same place right now, emotionally, and they're dealing with it. And I understand everyone is not strong. However, her actions, and then having someone like Daryl who's very much being, no, this is what the consequence of your actions is going to be, and then you keep doing it, and then you drag him along too. Like, he's not being forced to, but like I said, what can you do if that's your best friend? You can't watch them die. And I understand hordes can vary in size, and she needs to see it, I guess, to believe it. But I felt like they did that last episode when she saw the spikes. She's like, no, look what I can do. I don't know. I cannot defend Carol right now. I just cannot. I can't defend Aaron and his stupid ass decisions. Oh, I'm going to trust Gamma. Is that her name? I'm just going to trust her. I'm not going to trust the man that saved my life twice and like yesterday. I'm going to have him hanged because honestly, I just don't fuck with him like that. But I'm going to trust this woman that I met yesterday by the creek, and it obviously feels like a setup. And I'm still going to be like, no, I really did trust her, man. So I don't understand the character's motivation. R.I.P. Sadiq, in case you missed it. Sadiq dead. By Dante, who it turns out that this guy we've all been side-eyeing since we met him because the show made no effort whatsoever to say something up with that dude. Now, the plot for him being a Whisperer spy, I thought was a rather sophisticated in a way that does not coincide with what we've seen from Alpha thus far. She seems dumb as fuck. Just gonna throw it out there. Maybe some people find her terrifying. I personally think she's just a dumbass bitch who's managed to have different weapons around her and she knows how to use them. But at the same time, I feel like her whole entire way of even leading ostracizes her in a way that if she were to like present this very elaborate plan, I'm sure no one would even question her. But she's like, no one has to be questioned. That to me doesn't even, what kind of power structure is that? How many people are under the Whisperers? I feel like there's still a lot of questions with that I feel the team, meaning anybody who's trying to go to war, should get information on. And that's another thing. It's like we have a whole lot of soldiers out here and they need a commander. And none of the soldiers have a commander that they're willing to listen to right now. Because Michonne's like, look, I want to kill these people too. Y'all act like these people are just not a problem and I think they're great and I don't want to take them out. But that's not where we're at right now. We should have been doing some shit like this. If y'all wanted to come up with plans, why wasn't this a plan? Hey, even though it might be with Negan, and considering how everyone at the camp, despite him making his changes, don't seem to care that he's made any strides. Like Gabriel is the closest one, maybe to Michonne, who sees Negan as more than just a mouthpiece. Like he can be made useful. And I find Michonne to be the one, and they show that trailer of her with Michonne, with Negan's bat. I'm about 89% sure that she's the one that let him out. She's the one that was thinking ahead and said, okay, we need to figure out what the fuck is their weakness, because going at them head on head is not going to work. So we need to be more sly about that. And this is something that's happened in societies for a really long time. Like, obviously, if we all just did eye for eye every time shit went down and there was no diplomacy in there, we would all be throwing nukes at each other and we'd be dead. There needs to be people in the room that knows how to do it the right way. Like I'm going to get my revenge, but I'm going to do it right. I'm going to play a better game than my opponent. And I don't feel like we have any chess players running around right now. We got a lot of fucking pawns that don't know what the hell they're doing. Or at least they think they know what the hell they're doing, but they're not really anticipating anything outside of their own selfish need and desire at the moment. And that's really annoying. So Dante gets gutted, just to finish up Dante's story, by Gabriel. By all people, Gabriel is like, nah, I can't let my baby mama's or that his baby mama, I guess Sadiq's baby mama, and then his girlfriend, her baby daddy is what I should say. Yeah, he can't let that slide. And after last week, he was all jumping on Carol's ass like, this ain't your decision, which that to me annoyed me too. Like, girl, you show up and you just start making decisions like, we're gonna do him until he bleeds, ma'am. And I did like when Gabriel was like, and Michonne, like, don't forget who fucking runs this shit in security. It's not you. And we have a council and we have a way of doing things here that kept us on top while y'all asses up in fucking kingdom failing. So y'all can get yeah, I'm on one night with Carol. I'm on one completely. because that was some audacity on another audacious level. And again, I get that she's too through. I would be too. I would not want to live on the same land as the person that killed my child if there's nothing I can do about it, or if I can't execute a plan successfully to avenge. Then you should have stayed your ass on that boat and kept sailing, or chilled at Oceanside, something. But like I said, she's chasing this fight because she wants it, and she doesn't care at all if anyone else feels the same. But like I said earlier, there are those that feel the same just as her, and some of them even showed up tonight, and I was like, Connie, get your ass back at Hilltop. Don't be in this dumbass shit, because Daryl got plot armor. Carol got plot armor. Everyone else, I hope this is the season that Carol dies. I'm not even gonna lie, just because she needs to. I hope whenever Maggie does pop back up, she is left standing at the end. And I'm not even the hugest fan of Maggie, but at least when Maggie was on her shit, she came up with a fucking plan. An actual plan, execution. Get Rick out of the way. Bam. Did it kind of fuck up on its own way? Yes, this is why plans are not perfect. But as far as her revenge, she made very minimal blowback. Like, the worst that was going to happen was that Rick was going to take his friend off somewhere, and I was going to get to Michonne and talk to her because I knew she was going to let me in them doors. I was going to sneak in there and take care of that motherfucker, and I was not, and it was just me and Daryl. And anyways, I do not want to spend this podcast complaining about the dumbass decisions that are going down, but there are a lot happening, very much so. So Father Gabriel shanks Dante in his cell, and he's crying about it, but he know it had to happen. Not if he planned to look at his wife again. She was looking at him like, nah, you got to man the fuck up. And he did it. So it's even showing that the man who held on to his humanity the most, as far as, you know, I don't know. I can't say that though, because he was in the field. That man had his hands up and he quoted the Lord's Prayer and blew his brains out. So I don't know why Gabriel is this really crossing the line. But I guess cold-blooded murder after they had made this charter, after they had decided that this was not going to be the way anymore, that now they're back to those times. And I get that cinematically in the show, especially if you're gonna have like Rick fucking Grimes pulling up with the whole Grimes royal family later on, and they're going to be leading them to the future, and that's how the show's going to end. So before then, you need to see the world without Rick Grimes, without Michonne Grimes, and with Julia still being too small to really have an impact. Too much so. But she's the one that's going to be protecting her brother, so that's her story. I don't know. I guess it makes sense to have everyone just do stupid ass shit, but man, is it hard to watch. Just following up, because I don't want to end this on a sour note since I'm already down the creek of things that piss me off. Erin gets everyone to meet up with Gamma. I keep wanting to call her Gamma, because she wants to see her nephew, because her real name is Mary. That's what you say? Yeah, her real name is Mary, and she's the sister of the girl, the lady that put her baby down, right? So Erin decides to show her baby. They bring the baby from Hilltop, right? And it turns out the horde wasn't there, because that was the exchange. You let me see my nephew, and I'll show you where the horde is. Now everybody and their mama, well, Daryl mostly, was like, this is a fucking trap. Like, why don't we just found out that there is a spy here? Even I didn't know that this guy was a spy, which again, that was a failure as far as I'm concerned with the writing, because they made everything say this guy is Sketch. So if I can see Sketch and I'm not there, to me, I feel like my characters should see that he's Sketch, but whatever. And this is just bad timing to say, hey, we should trust a whisperer. I think that was very, very well stated and validated when she got what she wanted, but they did not get where the horde is. Again, why are we going after this horde in which we do not know what we're going to do? It's like they honestly think they about to fight this fucking... If a horde is 1 million people, is 1 million zombies, yeah, and where are you hiding it? I mean, I just don't... No one has a fucking plan. Oh. So, finishing up with our group, which I'm really just gonna let... There's a lot of people saying Connie's gonna die now. It could just be naysayers out there because they really want their Carol, and that's the only thing keeping hope alive for them in this show. Fuck Carol. The ship. I want Daryl and Connie together. But even if Daryl didn't get with Connie, I still just want Connie by herself living. She's one of the only few characters that's been introduced in the last years that I have any emotional connection to. And if they've once again just set up Daryl to be close to one person so that they can just die and then Daryl can get man pain off of it, I'm gonna be angry. And then that'll be his reason to be like, yeah, come on, Carol, let's fucking kill. I know that's exactly what's about to go down. I know. And I'm just angry about it. I'm so tired of it. How many characters have we done this with? With Daryl in particular, and female characters. Yeah, because no female character can ever be with Daryl. He needs to go die, without anything. Just because, honestly, no one really wants to put him in with Carol, but they also don't really want to shit on that fandom because they know it's the only millions that are still watching. Lasai. So they all up in this cage where all these million walkers are, and that's where the horde is. And of course, who led them there? Alpha. Who led them there chasing Alpha? Carol. Why? Because Carol sees this bitch and just follows, and everyone follows her. Of course, Daryl follows her, and then everyone will follow Daryl. I'm so annoyed. That's how much I am so annoyed with that storyline. Let's move on. We get a much more interesting storyline with Virgil. We meet him at the library, finally seeing my beautiful, bodacious queen Michonne, and she is meeting up at Hilltop, right? No, not Hilltop. Oceanside. I feel like there isn't a good enough explanation in the show where Michonne was. Is that just me, or did I miss something? Because it's possible I may have missed something in the dialogue. But I feel like Michonne has been gone for an inordinate amount of time with Judith, Luke, and a few other miscellaneous peeps, and Scott. I love that she's training all of her people too. Like she could easily go down and see what those tracks are, but she goes and sends Scott, and Scott even says, well, I'm not as good a hunter as or as good a tracker as Daryl, but this is a single person, it's not a walker because they drag. So she's trying. She's what I see as a leader. That's what Rick was. Come with me, let me show you how we trap snares. What she said earlier, I may have been stupid, never got... And what did she say to Tyrese? I mean, everything Michonne ever said was just coming back to fruition in this episode, and why she gives nothing but words of wisdom, and why she is the way she is. Thank God Judith is there. If the adults would listen to her, I doubt it. And she's still even teaching her child. But she said something like, anger makes you stupid. Stupid gets you killed. And then she said the same thing to Aaron. Like, I've always been, I've never been nice, but I've always been smart. Because smart has kept me alive all this damn time. Like, I'm not going to, like, I get where you guys are coming from. And I've been there, man. I've been there. It's been 6 years since my husband has died. And I cannot even remember something he says without me breaking down emotionally for a minute. So for y'all to act like y'all's pain is somehow unshared is really not something gelling with me. And then you have someone like Michonne who comes along and she's constantly trying to say, okay, no, we can do this. We just can't do this. But this is like the reason why democracy never... Democracy is a tricky thing. It's why some people are in dictatorships. I'm not saying that's what I advocate. Absolutely not. But, that's why I really like the idea of the council, even though they got on my nerves. And the fact that she even, is giving into what the council wants. That's why I think she did this plan with Negan behind everyone's back, because even Negan said some episodes, or maybe was it last season, when he was telling her, I hear things outside these walls, I know everything that's going on. Yeah, that's when she was having issues with the council last time. So I can see her constant frustration at where everyone's at right now. Very much like the comics. If you've read the comics, this is exactly what Rick was going through. And then he was talking to Negan in his cell, and they were having conversations about, it is great having democracy, but let's not get it twisted. Power still needs to exist. And that's, to some extent, other countries as well, even the United States of America. We got democracy that we go out and vote, but then we have things like the FBI and the CIA in particular, that are doing actions and things that are not necessarily a part of the council, but it's for our security, for our safety. So I felt like we should have just had a CIA in Alexandria, or between all the communities, and let them, and then you could have did that, Carol. Say, like, I'm gonna sign up for the motherfucking CIA. Let me go get another group. Let me do something. I don't know. I just realized someone messed with my freaking settings on my phone, and I know that was my daughter, and I'm about to hit her in her jawline, because I'm not really going to. I say things that I do not do all the time with my daughter, so I do not want anyone thinking I actually sucker punch my child. I do not. That girl barely gets whoopings. Anywho, back to the Virgil and the reason why Michonne's been gone all this long. Luke, still in this world, gets attacked by zombies and does not, he's so dumb. I love Luke though, I ain't gonna lie. He's just, because I love when she's like, it needs to be quiet, and he's like, I know your mom's talking about me, I know she's talking about me, but I need to keep talking because I have this thing called music, and it's in my soul, and because I can't play an instrument, I have to keep running my mouth. They stop at a library, he gets attacked, they stop and get books because Judith is she's basically writing down history. And I think that's pretty awesome that we have a character, even if it's the youngest character, deciding to take an interest on the events that go down. Because that's important, I think, for the generations to come. She's starting to scribe history because history is now being rewritten. It's already been rewritten. How are we preserving that? And that's what inspires them to go to the library. Her and Michonne even find a book they're going to read together because she's like, I always wanted to read this book. We can read it together. And when he goes to the music section, that's when he gets attacked and an unknown person saves him. And he thinks, he's like, this is weird because who the hell would try to save people in this day and age? Like, it's so unheard of that he's just honestly very flummoxed by it. Like, who does that? Who just saves someone and leaves? And then leaves all of their shit? Like, what is going on? There was another little tidbit we got here about the satellite parts, because Judith finds a book for Eugene to start deciphering that. I really wish Eugene was dead, but apparently I still have to deal with him because he has use. And honestly, there would be no other person that would have the use that Eugene would have. I wish he would just stop panning after fucking Rosita. It's just sad. All the freaking fish in the sea, and you only got your heart pegged on one. Come on. I know there's a thing called unrequited love, but it's just sad every time I see. And then she's not even nice, but I get it. At this point, I've told you no. I've told you no again. I keep telling you no. I've had a baby. I've had 2 men. I've had love affairs, and I'm still not looking at you that way. Doesn't matter how much you look at me that way. It's fucking creepy. But at the same time, she's not like she doesn't care about him or think he's a friend. But damn, you need to go on somewhere. But seriously, Rosita, killing walkers with a damn brass knuckles?
Excuse me, bitch?
That has to be up there with the deer. Just dumb shit I never need to see ever again in life. After you just got done being sick. Ugh. Moving back on to the better part of the episode and the show as far as I'm concerned. When they go to Oceanside to warn them that, hey, Sadiq is dead, And I love that scene where Luke is like, is something wrong with Michonne? And she's like, Sadiq is dead. And she's like trying to hold it together, but you can tell it's very affecting her. And then she just walks off. And I love Judith doesn't even hesitate. She follows instantly in her mother's footsteps. Their relationship, and then seeing how Judith is so much like Michonne, just really breaks my heart every time in the best kind of way. Cause it's just, there is something to be said about a mother and daughter duo, and we don't get that nearly as much. Honestly, I could watch a whole show with just Michonne and Judith. Probably the whole Grimes family. But if it was starting off like kind of the way The Walking Dead started off with Rick and Carl, I could watch a whole nother spinoff. It be Michonne and Judith. But they run into this Virgil again at Oceanside. He's not answering any questions. I did laugh my ass off when Michonne took that sword off and she said, if I had to ask you one more time, that is such code for you are not going to get there's no coming back from this ass whooping if you do not answer my question right now. Some zombies attack. They go after the zombies. I don't need for Michonne to scream Judith though. It's kind of like, do you not know who your child is? Cause Virgil somehow, he's so strong, he was getting away from the like the Oceanside people were trying to calm him down. And he's just like wrestling against them. And Michonne took one look and grabbed her sword. He calmed down real quick. But of course, the minute she walks away or she's occupied, he tries to run off. And freaking Judith with the she straight clipped his whole fucking kneecap, took him down, went up to him and said, stay there. Sees a zombie coming in her way, ever so casually turns around. She's so confident in her own badassery that she leaves him. Like, don't make me repeat myself. Like, you see that tone? Yeah, I have that tone. Kills the zombie. Like, she swipes it. I love the way she swipes her sword, and then it goes down, and then she does it in the head, and then she does the little flick like Michonne does when she's getting blood off of her freaking sword.
I'm a boss ass bitch.
Then and only then does she call for mom, and she looks at her like, good girl. That's my baby and I love her. Later on, there's another hilarious scene with Judith. Man, she steals the freaking show, where Virgil is all tied up and she's just casually reading this book, and he's like, that book is for my daughter. And she says, well, actually it's from the library and it fell out of your bag. So he's like, stop reading it. And then she doesn't even respond. Like, I'm not even about to do, like, that request was so dumb. And goes back to reading her book. And so he tries to lunge at the little 10-year-old, which Virgil. But he tries to lunge at her and she just very casually moves out of the way. And then stares at him and says, be careful, you'll break your stitches.
I'm a boss ass bitch.
I stan Judith so freaking hard. You know why? Because Michonne raised her. Lori, you fucked up Carl, and it was only when Michonne got him that he started acting right. Oh, so wrong to say, but kind of true. Anywho, Michonne jumps in and tags her daughter to bed. Like, get your ass to bed, little girl. And she says, okay, look, where are you really from? And he says he's just trying to get back to his family. He didn't mean to cause any trouble. Cause they think he's a whisperer spy. And the only thing they really want to know is where you come from. And he's not really to answer that. He's like, I can't tell you where my camp is, which she understands. And that's the thing. Michonne's not interrogating him in a way to say, yeah, I wouldn't understand. Like, this is lining up. And you're naming the reasons why. You're not even saying, I can't tell you where my camp is. I don't trust you. You said I need to keep my family safe. And that's something Michonne understands fully. And she's seen Rick act the exact same way on numerous occasions. So she gets that. And she asks, well, why did you save my friend at the library? And he says, I don't know why. He says, mercy is in short supply nowadays. But despite what happens here, I'm actually glad that I did that, because that's when he gives the line. And that's to say, like, nobody saves anyone. And I'm surprised that I was willing to put my life on the line for someone else and not act selfishly. And I'm actually rather proud of that moment. I still have my humanity, even after all the shit I've had to do to stay alive in these 6 years. And everybody at this point has had to do some shit. And so she can relate to that answer. And she relates by saying it reminds her of something that someone said to her. And of course, it's a quote from Rick. And she says, my wrath is prevailed by my mercy. And he could tell that this really affects her. He allows her to even have this moment, which also bonds them very closer together. And he tells her, you know, this is where I'm from, because she says, like, if you want to get home, that's fine, but you need to tell me where your home is. That's how you get there. And he does see enough to be like, okay, look, she's clearly sympathetic. She's showing me a vulnerable part of herself. She's asking me to open up to her, and that human understanding allows for him to reveal where he's from. And so he says, well, you did cause a lot of damage here, so we got to square that shit up before we move to the next step. Turns out she's going to escort him because he also offers her something she can't refuse. He says, well, you got trouble here, I can help you with that. And so she says she's willing to take the risk. And I love that she goes to Judith to discuss it. Not an adult. She doesn't radio Daryl. She goes immediately to her daughter and lets her know what's going on. Like, hey, he says he's got weapons that can take out this horde, because, you know, that's what everybody fucking needs. And she can't take anyone with her. It has to be her for this type of risk. She's going to take a boat with him for 2 days, get the weapons. She doesn't even know how she's going to get that shit back, but this is worth checking out. She thinks that she's needed back at home, because she is, and that things are falling apart, which they are. But Judith says, no, you need to do this. If this can end the war, and it's just you making this risk and sacrifice, and it's our family that's having to sacrifice for everyone else, because that's what we fucking do in the Grimes household, that's what I'm gonna do. And she gives her the okay to go. Like, go, mom, get these weapons, come back, I'll be fine. And they hug, and it's so sweet. And of course, this is one of the last episodes that Michonne is going to be in. I think she's going to be only in one more, I believe. I tried to get people to spoil me on social media, but very few people are, strangely enough, not jumping in my inbox. Like, what the hell? I am demanding to be spoiled. Any other day, y'all are just spoiling my ass. But she says goodbye to Judith. I know a lot of people were mad that there was like no RJ scenes, but why wouldn't he? If you're really honestly putting it up like Michonne's gonna disappear and no one's gonna know what happened, you're not gonna have emotional goodbye scenes with all the family members. Like, she didn't even say goodbye to Daryl. Like, no one's gonna get a goodbye. No one is expecting this. So as much as we would love to see her with RJ, I think we had enough of an RJ scene. I mean, and that's not, let's be real, kids don't know lines. Kids don't need to even be available. There's a lot of scary shit on set. They're going down some dark paths. People are in whisper masks. I would not personally want my kid on set all the time like that. Like, it's not necessary. I think we had a really nice moment. How old is he's supposed to still be 6 years old, so, or 5, right? 5 years old, 5 or 6, one or the other, but he's too young for us. I mean, even time I see him when he be running around, I'm like, that is a big ass fucking kid. So it does not bother me that she was not saying goodbye to RJ. He's with Uncle Daryl, and there's no one else that you trust better than Uncle Daryl. And to me, I always was going to feel that she was going to leave the kids with like someone on purpose and intentionally leave like that. But no, she's just planning on going for 2 days and coming back. And they even said, well, you know, radio us. They're clearly in contact. That's another thing. They have long range walkie talkies so they can talk. Because she says, Judith, you can call me every day or every hour, whichever you'd like. They both have their walkies. But whatever is going to be happening next, like I said, I think she's done all she could to her kids to be in the best protection they could be in. And it isn't Aaron or anything, because swore Daryl was going to do something weird. And as much as Carol's pissing me off right now, she would fucking do anything for those children. So yeah, I don't see what her decision is any type of, you know, bad thing against Michonne or even the show, how they handle it. I'm okay with it. I have no issues there. But yeah, he introduces himself as Virgil only when he gets his bag back. And again, it's another callback to kind of Michonne. You know, she was not okay until she got her sword back. That thing that belonged to you. It's important to not feel so helpless, even when you're choosing to trust someone. And that is how we end the scenes mostly with Michonne. I don't think I'm missing anything else. But yeah, she's going on a boat, which I love the fact that we're traveling by boat a little bit more often. What's gonna happen? I do not know, but something's obviously gonna go wrong or right. I don't know, because he says the Navy base, and I could have sworn it was gonna be somewhere where the bigger people were at, but this could also just be the small point, and then it pops off from there. And Virgil might be a character that whose family don't make it, and who they have to go on the run, or who she decides to help. I don't know, but something's definitely gonna go wrong there. What else do I want to add after this? Like I said, I think they're teeing up for big deaths after the mid-season finale. I thought overall it wasn't even the strongest mid-season. There's a lot of talking. Aaron was talking. Who else was talking? I don't even want to be reminded. Oh yeah, because when we saw, like, I hope Magna dies. That's the only person I really want to die. Like, Luke and Connie are the only two people I care about. Magna can so die, and so can her girlfriend. Because when she got out, she's like, we're doing this for Sadiq. Bitch, last week you were stealing food from Hilltop. Stop it. Now all of a sudden you care? It's like they have the really, really dumbest ways of having their characters try to insta endear them. That didn't endear me. It just reminded me that you stole food from Hilltop's mouths a few weeks ago. So if you want to send feedback, you can send that to blackgirlcouch@gmail.com. You can find this podcast, Black Girl Couch Reviews, where all good podcasts are found. You can reach me on any of my social medias below. Like, share, subscribe. Until the next time, peace, hair grease, and Black Girl Magic.